We are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Effing F1 Show. You join us live for the 7th Effing F1 Show. I believe where all those have gone. We are at the Imola Romagna Grand Prix. I've been trying to practice that all day, and I still don't think I've got it right. From Monza in Italy on the Jez Show Network, as usual. Although it's slightly different today. It's Jez and myself, seeing as Duff is lost in a career somewhere out at sea. But hopefully we'll have him back for the next one. So we have our guest host, Jez, today, who's going to share his Formula One knowledge with us and talk us through the race as well as bringing up some very good points, I'm sure, along the way.
It won't take very long for me to share my Formula One knowledge with you, it must be said.
Well, it's all right. It's all
we could probably get that done in the next minute, and then you can take over from there.
So we got 20 laps left, as per usual. Well, just over today. What's been a fairly standard kind of race, I think, so far. I should also give a shout out to Planet F1 for the stats as well. Thank you very much for those. We've had a fairly standard start. Lewis has had his usual luck with that virtual safety car that saved him having to fight Bottas. I think the only real battle at the minute looks to me, Jez, like Bottas and Verstappen, which should be good in itself, to be fair. It should be...
Yeah, I mean, I noted to you as we were getting set up that I was surprised how much Verstappen had stayed in that championship contention. It would only take a bit of bad luck for Lewis and to drop a few podiums for that to be a really close race. So all hope is not quite lost yet, but yeah, it probably is mostly lost. We've got Obliviator in the chat. They might as well post a huge banner saying we're somehow giving Hamilton the win before every race. That virtual safety car was too convenient.
It was.
Can't argue with that, really.
Normally, the virtual safety car goes on. I mean, I think it was only 20, 30 seconds, and Lewis was just at the right point of the track to take advantage of it, to be fair. And yeah, it worked out well for him, as it always does. But I think if I was Bottas, I'd rightly be a bit peeved, but Bottas has got damage to the floor of his car, which is why Max is able to keep up with him by the looks of it. Of course, as to use a Murrayism, it's one thing to catch, but another to get past. So we'll see. He is certainly right up behind him. Other drivers of
and while we were getting started, actually, and lost attention on the race for a second, Vettel has managed to have a nightmare pit and has dropped all the way to 14th. We were deciding who our last person to go into this top 10 for Effing Racer of the Week was going to be. And we were like, oh, well, Vettel, he's got 23 seconds on his next person in 5th, whoever that was at the time, I can't remember. So he should, go 7th, 8th at the worst.
Yep.
He's down in 14th after that.
He just said, oh, go on, Max boy. Max is around him, is he? Yeah, he's done him. There we go. Well done, son.
That's what we like. That's what we like.
On. I've gone for the young and trendy wrong way around cap, but it is we are supporting Max today, or I am anyway. And don't forget to get your votes in for Effing Racer of the Week. Last week we cursed Leclerc, who's doing surprisingly well considering that he was the winner last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's probably the way things are in Ferrari that he was aware of the curse, and through the power of his team, he has managed to pass that on to Vettel in the same way that Ferrari pass all of their bad luck on to Vettel instead of Leclerc.
It's the less fuck over Max Seb button. We'll just press that a second, slow him down a little bit. There we go.
It seemed to be deliberate with a 13-second pit stop, but
I'm not one.
You can't make it up, can you?
But you couldn't ride it. The guy who was due a break today, he was having a cracking race, beating Leclerc as well, and then that happens. So I think a little shout out probably worth for Russell running in 12th as well in that Williams, which we all know isn't the fastest car around, but he's holding on to that, which is good. In fact, if we take a couple of people out, you might even get a point. Why are they getting tyres ready for Mercedes? Who's coming in? Probably Bottas.
Yeah, how is Kimi still on mediums? Obliviator asks. It's a good question. He's the only one that hasn't pitted yet, right? And he's got a 30-second front, so he can come in at pretty much any time now. And as long as he doesn't do a Vettel, he can come back out into that fourth position.
He's 30 seconds behind Bottas. That's what that means. So Perez is up his Vettel.
Of course. My bad. To
be fair, though, he should only come out.
That's why you're here and I'm the novice.
He should only come out around 12th line, to be fair. Just ahead of Russell, somewhere between Russell and Giovinazzi, I thought, depending on how good the pit stop is. But yeah, to have made those mediums last 44 laps, Olivier, you're quite right. That's quite an effort. Because if you think where his teammate is, it was Giovinazzi, 13th. So that's probably about where he'll come out actually by his teammate, which would be quite ironic when you think of their different strategies, and they're both going to end up in the same spot.
Indeed.
So Vettel's got past Giovinazzi.
It's fairly impressive to keep them going for that long, though.
It is. No one else is.
One of those tracks.
Yeah, it's a fast track, but it's not much of a tyre killer. It's a lot of straights, and straights don't wear out tyres as much as chicanes and big bends and stuff do. The corners are not that fast. There's a lot of left-right kinks and stuff, so it's not so much wearing down the tyres like it would do at, say, Monaco or even Spa, for example, where there's lots of high-speed, fast, twisty corners like Eau Rouge and stuff. So it's they could probably have made the softs last not 45 laps, but not far off it. So yeah,
Olivier is predicting he'll come out around Norris, so maybe sandwich between Sainz and Norris if that.
Yeah, you probably
that twosome remains.
Yeah, you won't be far off with that. It's for sure. Because the T3 15th. So other battles we've got going on at the minute. Obviously, Perez is right behind Raikkonen, but that's not going to matter when he pits in a minute. We've got Kvyat and Albon in the two sister cars. Magnussen, I'm getting a massive headache from all these upshifts. It's like kicking the head every time. Well, you're in a Formula One car, mate. It's pretty loud anyway, I'd have thought. I think he
does, like, we're on board with him now, and he does look to be like being battered around a lot more than your average F1 driver does. Probably something going on with that car.
Yeah, if there's an issue with the gearbox, it's. I mean, these things change gear in hundredths of a second, so it's pretty forceful. Certainly quicker than you and I could do it with a stick, anyway. That's for certain. So Max has made up a 10th.
Yeah,
he's not going to catch Lewis, is he? That would be nice if he started taking time out of Lewis, but again, I don't think we're going to get.
No, not with 13 seconds. Not with the way we have gone this year.
No.
But before we continue, I'm just going to explain the Effing Racer of the Week vote for anyone that's here and wants to vote. So there is a list of races you can choose from to vote, and Obliviator's already worked it out. He's already voted on Perez. In the chat, you put !vote, all one word. Then you put a space and the name of the person you'd like to vote for. That the short names of all the people that are available are Lewis, Perez, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Verstappen, Bottas, Ocon, Sainz, Kimi, Vettel. Those are your choices for Effing Racer of the Week. Who you'd like to curse?
Yes,
going into Istanbul for the next race.
And if it's, I think it's going to be close. I haven't quite decided who I'm going to give it to yet. And normally I give it a couple more laps. But so far,
I tend to go in the last kind of three.
There's a couple of standout performances to talk about. Certainly Kimi, I guess, although he's going to lose that shortly. Perez has done well to come back from where he was. Albon doesn't deserve anything for finishing 8th in the same car as Max is running second.
No. I mean, what is the deal with Albon? Is he that bad a driver that he's so consistently far away from Max?
No, I think it's. If you look at Gasly, for example, Gasly was Max's teammate, and he was doing just as bad as Albon was. They stick him back in the AlphaTauri, and he's up there winning races again, or doing well. Whereas, he's out already, isn't he? Sorry. But, I think the pressure of being Max's teammate is probably a large part of it. The car is built around Max, and the team is quite centered around Max as well. To be fair, it's very similar, I guess, to when Seb was at Red Bull and Webber was there and all that, and it was all everything was for Seb, everything is for Seb. So there's that side of things as well, a bit like Leclerc and sort of Ferrari, I guess, in some ways. The way that Ferrari drives. Hi, little cute girl, 86. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. It's Formula One drivers like cars to drive a certain way. So some drivers will like a car to oversteer as you're going in and out of corners. Some cars like it to understeer, which means it doesn't turn straight away. You have to have two bites of the cherry. And it seems that Leclerc and Seb have different opinions on that, and they've just listened to Leclerc and told Seb jog on, which is why he's leaving, you can assume. So Leclerc is more comfortable in the car, so it means you can drive it faster. It means you can get more out of it without having to change your driving style. I don't think
that makes sense. Yeah, Obliviators come in with and echoed what you said. Basically, cars are set up for the first driver's preference. Bottas, Vettel, Albon all suffer the same issue. So cool. Well, I'm glad you explained that to me. That if nothing else, me being here instead of Duff means that anybody that's as unknowledgeable about the sport as me that gets a bit of schooling this week.
You only learn by asking. That's one of those golden rules. If you don't ask,
indeed, yeah.
So what's going on?
I'm happy to ask as many stupid questions as is necessary.
Magnussen's retiring with his headache by the looks of it. Oh, dear me. But then if the gearbox is doing that, it's probably knackered anyway, so he was probably going to have to retire, I would have thought, and which is fair enough. Walk it in. So Kimmy's just come in, he's coming out. Let's see. Whoa, that's going to be close. So where are we? 12th. Yep, 12th. Just in front of Seb. But I wouldn't have thought Seb will be able to get past him now because he's got nice new, softs, fresh tyres. So he should be. So Raikkonen should be pretty quick now. You may even because
who's gone on the softs? Raikkonen's gone on the softs.
Yeah. If he can get himself into the top 10, he might even get fastest lap. Because you can only get the fastest lap point if you're in the top 10, by the way. Because on those tyres, he should be able to beat. He should be able to get past George, sadly, as well as compete with Norris and Sainz. I would have thought because they're all on older tyres as well. Disappointing race for the McLarens today, I think personally. So what's Obliviator? Sorry, big talking point this week. Why isn't the tracing point of Stroll made any progress? Can't even overtake Grosjean or Latifi. That's a very good point, Obliviator. I'm not entirely sure. I don't. He had that spin at the start, didn't he? Whether there's some car damage or whatever, or perhaps just because he's daddy's boy, he says it doesn't really make any difference to me. I'll just take it easy.
I was going to say you don't rate him anyway, do you?
I do not.
So the fact that he's not doing very well is not making you upset in any way.
Today's beer, for those wondering, is Cape Sour, which is a very nice sour beer. Very tasty, if a little bit sour, but an excellent palate cleanser for when you're having to talk about Lance Stroll because he's a dick. Anyway.
Well, Jez's beer of choice is not beer, it's Pepsi Max.
Pepsi Max, of course. The only Pepsi.
It's 20 past 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, I thought it's a bit of a tradition to have a beer on this particular stream, so why not?
Absolutely. One of us has to.
Oh no! Please don't be Max. Is that Max?
Oh, really? It is. It is.
For God's sake!
What did he do? I missed that.
Puncher, I think. Jez, looks like it. Yeah, because
I didn't do the math, but that might put Verstappen out of the championship contention for the top. I mean, at least.
Yeah, Rear Puncher has to
go and do the math.
It's a fast corner to have a blowout.
Little cute girl says, "Lol, it's 8 a.m. here." Well,
Man, that is a bit early.
you can have a beer at 8 a.m. That's basically yesterday.
Yeah. Slow puncture from turn one. Yeah, you might be right there. So safety car. So if Bottas didn't have that knackered floor, might have made the last couple of laps interesting.
They wouldn't have allowed that. Let's be honest.
Kicking the car. Go on.
Damn car. Well, it might give little cute girl's favourite Daniel Ricciardo a chance to
definitely
jump up to that podium, maybe, especially considering they're going to close out the gaps with the safety car.
Softs. Now that's a good idea.
Yes.
So that might be enough to make the difference, because it's a safety car, he's still going to come out in second place anyway because they won't have caught up yet. That's a good move. Good move. That might be enough to do it, Because I think the delta was about a second or so a lap. So that might be enough to get it. Oh, yeah, we are. Here's a replay. There we go. So he's coming the corner. He's flat out. Oh, there
it just pops.
Oh dear. So he would have been doing about 180 odd there. I would have thought. That's a new trousers moment, please. I would have thought. So we've got.
That's changed the race slightly.
Yeah, it's made it interesting for these last few laps. Now, so little cute girl, Mr. Ricciardo is up to third, so that's worked out nice for him. And I guess it depends how long the safety car lasts for, whether he can hold on to it because his tyres will be pretty necked. But if it's
did look where Verstappen had come off, that it was right next to one of the inlet outlets to bring on a forklift truck to get him off. So shouldn't be too long a safety car. Lewis is coming in. He's like, I want softs. Don't want any advantage for anybody else but me. Come in the softs.
Yeah, well, I suppose it was good enough for one. If you're playing the team game, softs.
Perhaps a shard of shrapnel from Stroll randomly went into his tyre. Very long time for it to be out there without hitting the others, though. Yep. It did strike me as strange that there was a period of about 3 or 4 laps where they just left what's-his-face's nose wing just on the side of the track without doing anything about it. It was only when they brought in that virtual safety car they actually did anything about it.
Yeah. Quite correct. So
very dangerous, in my opinion.
Of the sandwich, so at the minute, so they'll probably when they pick up the safety car, that'll be another lap. Oh, there he is. He's got it's on the forklift, so it shouldn't be too long. Shouldn't be too long. Laps, but time is ticking. You can see. Wow, that is properly shredded, isn't it? It's done a good job. Yeah. Right. So, in terms of, I think it's time for our first random fact of the day whilst all of this is going on. So first random fact of the day is that Monza is the fastest circuit on the current F1 calendar. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be on the calendar this year, but it is now. And drivers are on full power for over 75% of the lap. So that's why it's not so much of a tyre killer, because most of it's going fast in a straight line. Did make a mess of his car. And I'll jump straight into the next one as well. So, and actually, let's see if anyone in the chat. Oh God, what's happened there? Oh, someone's crashed whilst the safety car is out. Now that takes some doing. To be fair,
I think that's Russell. Yeah, it's Russell.
Yes, George boy, man, what are you doing? Anyway, the random question for the chat is: which 2 drivers share the record for the most wins at Monza with 5 apiece? So two drivers have won 5 times at Monza. He just did it all on himself, didn't he?
Yeah. Forget this race.
He stuck out the Formula 1 card as well. He just put his that's it.
Is this on board with him? No, it's watching Raikkonen.
Schoolboy error,
Good
George.
slide in.
He was in 9th as well, Jess. That would have been points.
Was he all the way up in 9th? Wow.
Yeah, because he didn't pit. Oh, you silly sausage. I can't tell what he's saying on the team radio if anyone's listening. I'm assuming he's saying, "Oh dear, I made a mistake," or words to that effect with a few more beeps.
Yes.
I think so anyway. So the answer to the question was, do you want to have it? Oh, you already know, Jesse. It was.
I already know because it's in the notes. Unfortunately,
I
I wouldn't
about
have
that,
guessed.
yeah.
I would have guessed. I would have guessed one of them, but not the other.
Well, Ayrton Senna and the good old Mr. Schumacher. No, it isn't Ayrton Senna. Is it? Even I'm getting it wrong. It's Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. Sorry, I was too distracted by that pit stop where Daddy's boy took half the pit crew out. Oh, he has as well.
Yeah, Obliviator was in there with Schumacher.
Yep, good work, Obliviator. And
Nowadays,
Lewis.
you just have to guess Lewis for everything.
You do, don't you? Yes.
So not only can Stroll not take any places during the race, he can take out most of his pit crew.
It's quite good as well, actually. Oh, George, you don't look very happy there, son, do you? That's dear.
I'm going to sit here and sulk. Leave me alone.
The other random fact is that Giuseppe Farina won the first ever Drivers' World Championship in Monza in 1950, and he remains to this day the only driver to have taken the World Championship at his home track, which is another random one. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess when
that
you
is
think
definitely before my time.
Yeah, me too. It's most of the time now. The last races or the sort of back end of the season is in the Middle East, so it's pretty unlikely that someone's going to win the title at their home race, I guess. But mind you, the rate Lewis has been doing, he'll probably win it by Silverstone, won't you?
Can we have a moment's silence for the mechanic who Stroll just took out? Daddy will replace him. Don't worry, Lance.
Daddy, another one in. Wow, he did proper. Look quite painful, actually. To be fair.
I mean, surely there has to be some kind of sanction for that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, he'll get it. He'll get some penalty points for that. So we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, there will be something done about it. It'll be the driver that gets fined, not the team for once. So how many laps are actually left? Because we've been going around in this safety car for a while now.
We've got 8 laps left.
Trouble is that they're going to have to brush.
Only a broken leg. He'll walk it off.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes. Yes, I can assure you that a broken leg is not something that you tend to walk off.
I was going to say, Jez is our resident expert on broken legs here today. Thank you for joining us. And
but it is something that they fix, and then once they've fixed it, they tell you to walk to heal it, which is a strange phenomenon. But that's the way it works.
So if anyone's wondering why those cars are passing their safety car, it's to get the field back in order. So once the track
to unlap themselves, as it were.
Yeah. So that lapped cars can unlap themselves. So that rather than Lewis being 6 cars ahead of Bottas when the race restarts, everyone is in order. So it's a true reflection of where they are. So in theory, that Ferrari should go past. Hello, Bernd. How are you doing? Luckiest man alive he is, Bernd Mylander. Fantastic job driving that thing. Oh, nice. As you probably guessed, that is not just a normal Mercedes AMG. That is a super souped up version of the safety car. Of course, back 10 or 15 years ago, the safety car used to be like a normal sort of road saloon car. It was in fact to the crash when Ayrton Senna died a few years ago.
I was going to say that's a nice segue into the discussion that we should probably have about the Senna and Ratzenberger incident.
Yeah, I remember watching that live on both counts when Ratzenberger died and Ayrton died. It was very sad. I mean, Formula One at the minute is a touch wood. Let's touch some wood there. Is a particularly safe sport in terms of motorsport and everything else. And a lot of the lessons learned from those two deaths are the reason why they why the cars are so safe today. As soon as I saw it, to be honest, it didn't look good, and I thought, oh dear, like a lot of people did. I think there was that stunned silence around the place, and it was one of the most unpleasant bits of TV viewing I've certainly ever sort of sat down and watched. And yeah, Barrichello was very lucky that weekend as well. You're quite right, Vivieda. It was another bad incident. In Formula One, if you go back 30 years, people were dying every other week, and it was I don't want to say par for the course, but you know, they if you think they weren't racing with seatbelts and you hit a tree and you land 100 feet away, sometimes that was safer than staying in the car when it catches fire and stuff. So it was a different world.
Back then you kind of knew you were taking your life into your hands, even competing in the sport, didn't you?
Yes.
It's not to say it's 100% safe now, and that you don't have that in the back of your mind that it's a possibility, but the chances are far, far less than it was back then, or even back in the 90s.
It's I think that it's not something I ever want to watch again. And, it's very. I mean, it was obviously extremely sad, and lessons were learned, obviously. And Williams were taken to court over an alleged faulty weld, but it wasn't that. In the end, they did a big piece on it on Sky before the race, and they were saying that the safety car was too slow, the tires were too cold, and that was a major contributing factor. I think was the phrase used. Hence,
in their Opel safety car.
Indeed, it was an Opel. It's not to be confused with Opel Fruits. That's Vauxhall in Europe, for those who are wondering what I'm talking about. So the Formula One vote.
And an extremely bootleg, cheapo General Motors in the States.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So I'm going to, these last 5 laps or 6 laps on my screen, I think that Bottas is not going to be able to do anything about him, sadly. So
I don't think there's enough time now.
Not really. I mean, they've cleared the track, so we should be good to go. Oh yeah, safety car ending.
I think we're coming in this lap. Okay, so it does mean that perhaps this last few laps is going to be exciting as Bottas tries to have a go. Maybe they can take each other out, and we'll have a Ricciardo, Leclerc, Albon 1, 2, 3.
That would be nice.
Am I dreaming?
Sadly, but it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. So Lewis is back in the field as he's entitled to do. I'm going to moan about it, but he's entitled to do it. So everyone, they always have to remember when it comes to the safety car, although it's green, they can't race or you can't pass until
you cross the line. Is that right?
Yep, the start-finish line. It used to be the safety car line at the entrance to the pit, but that changed because people kept crashing. So this is Bottas' best chance to get a slipstream down here, I would have thought. He's not gonna... Oh, hello, there's a good battle behind. Oh, we don't want to see that.
Yeah, Leclerc's pretty close. Oh, and the field behind them is even tighter. Still lots to happen.
There is. There's plenty going on. Oh, look at that.
I can see a crash happening here, and we finish this under the safety car. There it is.
And it's Albon. It would be, wouldn't it? He was doing so well. It's
always Albon.
That's another couple of points for the McLarens, though, isn't it? So that's good. Yes, they've
called that a clear track. Oh, yeah. Who's gone wide? Vettel. Not Vettel. No. Leclerc went wide.
Kvyat's got past him. So what happened here? Let's have a look. So he goes around the outside. Goes around there. Oh,
he just stacked it. No one touched him.
No, just put his foot down too early. Simple as that. Well, I say simple. It's not simple, but it's
bit of excitement.
Yeah, definitely. Let's liven it up a little bit. So he'll be. Well, let's have a look at the pit. Oh, they go. Oh no, not again. We've lost it again. I bet this will be good from on board with science. Whoa, look at that.
Yeah.
That was a
That was
pile
some
driver.
excellent driving by Sainz.
In to use a wrestling term, he just took him right out. So Perez is now all over Leclerc. Yes, Perez is all over. So Perez will probably get past Leclerc, sadly. Although Leclerc has drove an excellent race to be up in fifth. Although I still think Seb would have been up there if he hadn't have had that disastrous pit stop that knocked it back. Of course.
Time to start thinking about my vote, I think.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. I'm going to give it another lap, and then I might make a
Obliviator is leaving us to go and focus on this last 4 laps. Thanks for coming. Enjoy the carnage.
Indeed. Nice to have you with us, fella. All the best. We got battle for Leclerc, Perez, yeah. So we're going to crack on with that. Coming up. So Bottas is 1.7 seconds. God damn it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I might be tempted by Sainz just for avoiding that crash, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm going to do it.
Thank you for the host on your way out, Obliviator. It's very kind of you.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Well, that basically means that anybody that goes to his channel while we're on will see our broadcast instead.
Welcome, people, and joining us for the last bit of the race. So look at that. Leclerc's holding on. To be fair to him, Norris can't seem to do anything about his teammate, but then he's probably not overly bothered. Albon's come in for tyres. That's just going to put him dead last. Yeah, that's put him dead last.
What is the point?
Well, it brings us on to a good discussion about him, really, isn't it? I don't think he's going to be in that car next year. I don't think he'll be in any Formula 1 car next year. I mean, they might even pull the plug before the end of the season because they've done it before.
Have they got anybody in the wings waiting to come and take his place? Any young boys, as it were?
They did have Gasly, but that didn't work well. So he went back. Kvyat was in Red Bull for a bit, but he couldn't cut it. So he's not going to be in AlphaTauri next year, I don't think, anyway. So no is the short answer. The popular rumor is that Perez is going to be in that car next year. Not that Red Bull need the money that he brings, but I think between him and Hulk is probably the best 2 options for who could do the job and is available. I don't think any of the Red Bull people. I mean, next year in the AlphaTauri is going to be Gasly, and it's looking like the Japanese racer, whose name escapes me, I think it's Shinoda, something like that, is going to be the other driver in the AlphaTauri, which will be interesting. So that's another rookie coming into the sport, which is what AlphaTauri are supposedly there for in terms of the Red Bull project. They're the feeder team, for want of a better phrase.
Yeah, they're the former Toro Rosso team, aren't
Yes,
they?
They are indeed.
There you go.
Yep. AlphaTauri, that well-known fashion brand, apparently. I can't say I've looked at any AlphaTauri clothing, but there we are. It's Red Bull's clothing arm, supposedly. I've been reliably informed.
I see. I did wonder where that came from.
Very high-end, expensive designer wear.
Tat.
Yeah, tat. I think you're right there. I mean, it's even more expensive than F1 merch, which is stupidly expensive.
That's hard going. That is.
It is.
I remember when I came to Silverstone with you, and I was like, I might buy a jacket. Went to look at the jackets. I might buy a hat.
No, yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
When I was in Spa two years ago, I bought this Max Verstappen hat because everyone was liking the Max hats, and it's orange, and I'm a big fan of orange. And this was 65 quid, I think it was. Maybe perhaps I'm lying to myself. I think it was more than that, but I'll just tell myself it was that much so I don't get upset. But yeah, some of the stuff. I mean, it's really nice kit. Don't get me wrong, but the shirts and the jackets, like the rain jackets you see him wearing, I think they were like 300 or 400 quid. You think so? What the hell? You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense because you'd think they want people to wear it for sponsorship, for branding, recognition, and all those things, the buzzwords that they do. But by making it prohibitively expensive, your normal bloke like me isn't going to go and spend 400 quid on a jacket, no matter how nice it is. And
No. And when you've got Formula One has this image of the rich man sport, and you want to make it more accessible to your average person, like allowing it to be moved to Sky Sports on a massive pay subscription service, and then charging as much as they do for merch. It's like, no, Joe Blogg's 9 to 5 is not going to be able to drop the 60 quid, 60, 70 quid a month on the Sky subscription and buy £300-400 jacket and 100 quid hats to support the sport. So they're shooting themselves in the foot, as you say.
Well done, Lewis, by the way.
That's that then. Another dream dashed. Lewis takes pole once again.
Little cute girl 86 should be happy though, because Danny Rick's on the podium, and we all know what happens when Danny Rick gets on the podium. It's time for a shoey, ladies and gents. Hey, it's excellent news. I think I might make Duff do a shoey for the last race, just for a laugh.
Explain a shoey for
for those that
uneducated viewers.
It's
me.
It's a brilliant thing. It's an Aussie sports thing. So they take their don't have one to hand boot, for want of a better phrase, that they've just worn. Yes, the one they've just worn, full of sweat. Fill it up with champagne, then drink from said shoe, and that's called a shoey. It's an Australian sporting tradition thing, and he first started doing it the first time he got on the podium. And then when he won races and stuff, now there's a very famous and quite funny scene on if you YouTube Danny Rick and Shuey, and you'd put in Martin Brundle. Brundle was doing the interviews up on the podium, and he made Martin Brundle do it to drink from his shoe, which to be fair, they then auctioned off for children's charity and made many thousands of pounds. So that was a good thing that came out of it. And poor Brundle was covered in champagne drippings. It was quite funny. So let's have a
vomit emoji indeed, little cute girl.
Yes, I cannot imagine that after 2 hours in a sweaty Formula One car. That I mean, it's very nice champagne, and it's almost a waste to do that to it, really, isn't it? It's I think so.
I'm sure they don't get brand new boots every time either. It's probably the same boots he's worn in previous races.
Yes, extra sweat. For that big
yummy.
No, that's not for me.
Now, as you say, yeah, let's have a little recap of the race.
And also how is the vote going there?
Thanks to our decision to vote signs, he is ahead. Perez and Ricciardo are joint second. So there's still time to vote. We'll close the poll once we get to the podium. Who is your effing racer of the week? Get your votes
Get them in
now.
That's it. And I'm going to drop another random fact whilst we're waiting for the cars to park up. At the Italian Grand Prix in 2018, Kimi Raikkonen set the fastest ever lap in a Formula One car with an average speed on his pole lap of 163 miles an hour. So over the course of the lap, so distance versus time, it was 163 miles an hour, which is the fastest ever, and still is to this day. So number 93 for Lewis. There we go. So he's out on his own now. And will he make the 100? Probably. And by Silverstone next year, I think it'll be his 100th win if he carries on the way he's going.
Yeah, how many have we got left this year? 3, 4?
4. Istanbul, 2 in Bahrain, and then Abu Dhabi the last week. So 4 races, yeah.
So he's not going to be far off it at the end of the year if things continue, is he? So
No. Probably get the 95, 96. And, yep. Hello, Toto. Yep. Where's my new contract, Toto? Come on, I'm ready to sign it. I'm £100 million. Yeah, thanks. Although Lewis is
well,
have a problem.
when he comes out the week before and says things like he doesn't know how much longer he's going to be racing, that doesn't really help him in contract negotiation situations, does it?
I think he's messing with him. He's messing with him. That's all he's doing. Better position him. Yeah. Little cute girl 86. My family went to Monte Carlo and we saw race cars drive. I bet that was cool. That was very cool.
Yeah, that's I think that's my favourite race of the year, Monte Carlo.
Yeah, there's never any messing about at Monte Carlo. You make one mistake and that's it. You're gone. Good night. It was a shame to have missed obviously Monaco this year with everything going on, but can't be helped. I mean, in some ways, I'm just glad we got a season because at one point it was looking like even that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they've done well to get this many races in.
Well, they've done very well in general with the whole coronavirus situation because the majority have managed to stay virus-free.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even when they had, who was it, Sainz that tested positive a few weeks ago?
It was Stroll.
That's it.
Stroll and Perez.
He did miss a race though, did he?
Stroll did. Stroll didn't.
Did he?
Stroll, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Drove. It's done well for the Hulk. He's done three races this year, to be fair to him, through coronavirus. So he's made a bit of coin as well. And it's strange that Hulk has done better than Stroll has done, and he's kept up with Perez. And they're getting rid of Perez, of course. That's another daddy's boy moment. And don't get me started is a different show. One day I'll just rant for an hour, non-stop. Yeah.
Well, we talked earlier about maybe doing a roundup at the end of the year with you and Duff on our Jazz Show Network Christmas extravaganza. So maybe we just put you in the "Don't Get Me Started" graphics for a few minutes, and you can get started on Stroll.
Get it all out of my system in one solid rant. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
Get your Rolex on.
That's the way it's done.
Yeah. Gotta get his Rolex on and make sure he's nice and smart. And Lewis has got to do his hair before he goes on camera. Dear. I'm surprised the scooter's not out yet, to be honest. That's probably next. And, you can scoot along. And, for those of you who
have it on standby.
Yeah, for those of you who are wondering why the Karun Chandok Appreciation Society isn't around today, it's because my eight-year-old son has nicked my gaming rig, and that's my way of keeping him quiet whilst I'm doing this stream. So I'm in the living room, hence there is no green screen for poor Karun. But I'm sure the club will continue to prosper without my sponsorship, and I'm sure they'll be fine. And so we no longer vote.
You will be adorned by Lewis and his scooter and Lando Norris playing Fall Guys once again for our next race, I'm sure.
Who's that in the red jacket? It's quite interesting. Come on, Danny. We want to see the show. He's always smiling.
Carlos Sainz. Sorry, carry on.
No, go on. You did.
So Carlos Sainz is our effing racer of the week with 50% of the vote.
Very good.
Very nice.
So that's either a McLaren win in 2 weeks or he's just going to crash. Never mind. Hopefully he'll just crash a little bit.
Leclerc definitely got away with it.
Yeah, definitely did. I mean, where did he finish in the end? Finished 5th in the end, which is good. I mean, Kvyat, to be fair, in that AlphaTauri finishing 4th is a pretty solid result as well. And,
them. No, I was tempted to vote for Kvyat, but
he's Russian.
He didn't quite escape death in the same way that Sainz did. So
no, and I haven't got a lot of time for Kvyat anyway. He's a bit strange. and whether it's just the way he comes across, he's just got an unfortunate face, as I'm going to call it, and it's that typical Russian demeanor, isn't it? Of I'm better than everyone, and he just comes across quite like that, and he's no right to be really because he's rubbish. But, anyway, that's for another day. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
we got going on here, right? So come on, let's get up there, boys.
They're making their way to the podium. We've still got some time before we get to the podium. So shall we have a little chat about one of the other topics that you've got prepared before we get to the podium? So the one that I find the most interesting out of what you put in the notes is that lots of drivers are complaining about track limits, and
Yes,
you mentioned that some of them are unhappy with track limits.
yeah. So if you think about it, a Formula One track, there's two white lines on either side. That's called the track limit. So that's where you have to keep your car or one wheel over that white line within the boundaries of the track. And a lot of the time, drivers will try and straight line a corner, and they'll go outside the track limits, or they'll try and go around a different line, and they're breaking track limits, so laps get deleted. I think last week there was over 150 laps deleted. This week, I think it's been fairly similar because Monza is such a fast track, and you're always trying to carry more speed through the corners. They're pushing the track limits to the edge. The difference with Monza being, because Monza is an old school circuit, there's lots of gravel, as you saw with Max and George, and lots of grass. And the golden rule of any Formula One race is that grass and gravel are not as quick as the racetrack. So on a lot of the newer tracks, particularly places like when we come to Abu Dhabi and Bahrain next week, there's no gravel traps, there's no grass, it's just all tarmac. And so running off the track limits there is sometimes, well, usually faster. So you can push it a bit more. You can and keep one wheel on, so you're gaining a couple of tenths or whatever you're doing. You can't do that here because you'd have two wheels on the grass or in the gravel. So they're enforcing it a lot more. But I come back to my viewpoint on it is that if you can't keep it on the track, don't drive it. It's no different for anybody else, and surely part of the skill is getting around the track as quick as you can, and that's within the track limits, of course.
No, I completely agree with you there, and if the track limits or just being a white line is going to be such a big problem for the drivers, then maybe they need to bring back some more grass and gravel pits closer to the track. Because I agree with you, like the track has been designed a certain way for a reason, and so if you're going to turn up and cut the corner, that's not really within the rules, is it, as far as I'm concerned? So
like if you're driving your road car, you think, I'm just going to drive over the roundabout, I'm not going to bother going around it. That's not the point of why the roundabout is there. The roundabout is there around the roundabout, not over the roundabout. And it's the same with track limits. It shouldn't be any different. In my eyes.
If I drove over this pavement and this wall, I'd get into the car park to Tesco a lot quicker. I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And why wouldn't you, Jess? Why wouldn't you? Oh, no, because I might run over 6 or 7 people and then go, no, that's not a good idea. You need to keep to the track. And it's, if anyone's played the Formula One computer games, it's an absolute nightmare. As soon as you put a wheel off, lap deleted, and you're like, normally just as you're finishing a really good lap. And so I can see how it would be frustrating, but at the same time, it's sport and rules are rules. And I think that's what it should be.
And in the immortal words of Al Murray, if we didn't have rules, where would we be?
I can't remember.
You can't remember?
Where would we be?
France.
France, that's it. And if we had too many rules, where would we be?
Germany.
Exactly that. So it's quite funny, isn't it? It's I do like a bit of Al Murray. I used to go watch him quite often. And
we did. We actually went together to see him in Cardiff, but
we did,
that's a topic for another day.
It is indeed. Come on, I want to see this shoey. Get it done.
It is taking a lot longer than usual to get to the podium, right? Is it just me?
Must be a lot of steps. Perhaps they're not even doing a podium. Perhaps they've sacked it off. Who knows? Who knows? Pick another topic, Jez. We'll talk about someone else until I get it there.
Well, I mentioned earlier how the Drivers' Championship was still very much to play for.
Absolutely.
Similarly, and even more so, the race for third in the Constructors seems to be quite open. Let's delve into that.
And so, obviously, the tracing points, as you'll hear them referred to, have already been docked 15 points, and so they would probably be in a solid third if it wasn't for that. But if we look at where everyone's finished today, so we've got McLaren, both cars in the points. Renault, obviously Danny Rick finished third, but Ocon didn't finish the race. Ferrari have got a couple of points, but I think Ferrari are possibly, and I never thought I'd be saying this, too far behind to even think about finishing third.
Wow.
I know. Red Bull are that far ahead of third place that they're guaranteed second. I mean, it's really between McLaren, Racing Point, and Renault. And again, both have got all three rather have got fast cars, and they're all taking points off each other because both cars are performing well. Both drivers are sort of performing well. So I think it's going to be close. I mean, if this was the battle for the title, we'd all be living it. So it would be that close. But sadly, it isn't. It isn't the battle for the title, but it is the battle for best of the rest, which is not a phrase I like.
But I'm not sure that any of these three teams have really done themselves massive favors today.
No, because even though like McLaren have got both cars in the points, it's not big scoring points, is it?
It's the lower end, isn't it? Yeah.
So we finished
eighth. We are at the podium now, finally.
Nice. Oh, they've got a random guy up there for a Mercedes. He must be one of the fuel guys because he's got a different colour overall on. I'm sure he'll put it up on the graphic at some point. Just who he is. Normally the team boss goes up, or Lewis's friend goes up sometimes. His physio. As we look down on the world's most expensive.
When you've been on the podium as much as Lewis is, he probably gets bored taking the same people up there. He's mixing it up a bit, I expect.
We'll take someone different for a change.
You've been nice to me this week. You can come. Oh, thanks, Lewis. Thanks.
Yeah, you cleaned my scooter, so you can come up. That's fine. Yeah, oh, you changed the wheels as well. Bonus for you. Coming back to the point about the merch, even those masks are like 20-30 quid just because it's got Mercedes on it. Oh, God. I think the cheapest one I saw was the McLaren one, which is about 15 quid. But that's not so bad, really, I suppose. But certainly some of the sort of Mercedes ones and the Ferrari ones are really, really expensive. It just goes.
I mean, not that we advocate such things, but it's hard. It's not hard to realize why people head to the bootleg end of the marketplace to get things like this, is it?
No, it's not at all. Not at all. And I mean, when you think about it, it just goes to show what sort of world we live in when we're on a stream talking about masks as designer items. Says it all. Says it all currently. And, you see, only Lewis has the really expensive mask. The rest of the team have got the cheaper ones. Cheapo papery ones.
Of course.
Rude.
They haven't got the budget to give decent masks to the plebs, have they?
No. And there's Danny Rick getting his trophy as well. Yeah, give it a kiss. Take the mask off. Well done, Danny. Yeah,
looks a bit like a horse.
He has got a very long face.
No, not Danny Rick. The trophy.
Oh, the trophy. He hasn't done the show yet, little the cute girl. It's usually after they've covered.
After he sprayed everyone else with it.
Yeah, last week was it? Last week he had a podium, or the week before? He actually forgot to do it on the podium, so he YouTubed it about an hour and a half after the race, and he was in his room, the sort of garage they have, and he's doing it in there. So come on, Danny, don't let us down.
Here he goes. He's sitting down.
Yep,
Do the disgusting thing. Here it comes. Oh my god.
Oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
He's shaking out the stones and the gravel.
Oh god, man, look at it. Oh dear.
I'll just take a picture of it for you, little cute girl.
Lewis is going to do it. Come on, Lewis.
Oh, really?
If he does,
he's giving Danny Rick one of his shoes.
I will give Lewis a Rhys point if he does it. Oh, he's going to do it. He is going to do it.
It's Lewis doing it.
Yep,
there it is. They're not doing it from the right angle. There you go. I'll send you the picture in a minute, little cute girl.
Oh, dear me.
Well, I've learned something new today. I could have done without learning something new today, it seems, but yeah.
You can always learn something new. It's never a bad thing. Yes. So the Turkish Grand Prix, November the 13th to the 15th, is up next. Istanbul Park. We've not been there for a few years. It's another one of those circuits that they've brought back for this weird and wonderful season that we're having. I can't really remember much about the track, if I'm honest. And I know it's fairly slow. It's around a big park right in the middle of Istanbul. I'm trying to think who won the last race there, but I should have looked that up beforehand, really. So that should be a very good race. Looking forward to that. Who knows? We might see another shoey. We can only hope. That would be good.
And what is hopefully certain from that is that Duff will be back with you for that show, so you can have a conversation with somebody just as knowledgeable as you.
We'll just have you back as well. We'll just have the three of us. It's fine. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
I'll be there in your ear. Don't you worry.
and I shall be answering you. Don't you worry. Every time it happens, it's just, yeah. Why not? And no, so I think we'll.
Like, blah 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 said this, and Rhys like, oh, did they? All right then, cool. He just said that randomly out to absolutely no one.
You just can't help but answer it, can you? Because it's in your ear, and that's probably a good point to wrap it up there, Jez. And
I think so. Let's have a look at what is coming up for the rest of today on the Jez Show Network. And it's very simple, actually. We have one stream left for the day at 6 p.m. GMT. We're going into Little Cute Girl's Kitchen for her second affiliate stream. Congratulations on affiliate. She's making Scottish tablet, which I believe was the request of Captain Soro. She's doing a few requests over the next couple of weeks. So if there's anything you'd like to see her make, maybe throw her a suggestion there, Rhys.
Is that a Scottish iPad or something we're making a
Yeah, she's going to get out her a screen and some cables, and she's going to build an iPad, and then in true Apple fashion, she's going to charge 10 times its value.
Excellent. No, I shall try and catch that later on. Looking forward to it. I do like food.
No, I'm not 100% sure what it is, and Little Cute Girl can correct me if I get it wrong, but I think it's a kind of fudgy toffee kind of thing, a sheet of something. I don't really know, and that's part of the charm. Tune in and find out what the hell it is while she makes it. Other than that, we are heading tomorrow into the usual 2-minute warning American football show at 9 p.m. GMT with me and Matt. And the new schedule for the rest of the week will be going up very soon as well. Kind of like a fudge thing, she says. There we go.
And there we go. Fudge.
I was on the right kind of lines. Oh, Justin Classic pops in at the very last seconds with 50 bits. Thank you very much, Justin. Appreciate you.
Very good.
I don't know if you're a Formula One fan yourself, Justin, but I am a fan of you. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to start the pre-ending music, and you have a big week coming up.
I do.
Can you
I do.
speak on that?
On Thursday night from 7 from 6:30, I think it is. I'm doing my first stream, and we're going to San Andreas. We're going to go for a cruise. We're going to kill some people, and namely myself, because although I'm streaming Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I am terrible at these games. So you can watch me blow myself up with various weapons and bazookas and crashing cars and generally making a fool of myself. But we'll have some fun and some laughs along the way, and it'd be great if you can join us for that as well. Yeah, fun-filled hour and a half, no doubt.
And where is that? What's your channel address?
It's Rhysage1, Rhysage, and the number 1. You can find me, drop a follow, and hopefully come along on Thursday night.
Yeah, we've done well bashing people through to affiliates in the Just Show network. At first it was always be chatting, then it's little cute girl. Perhaps it will be you next. We shall see.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Until
It should be good fun.
next time then.
Yeah.
I've been Jez.
I've been Rhysage. Rhysage1, even if we're going.
We will catch you next time.
All right, thank you.
We've got a bit of lag now to close it out, which is great.
Nothing like that. It's all good. But thank you for joining us, Jez. We enjoyed it. It's been good.
No problem. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone for coming. We'll see you next time on the Effing F1 Show.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
y'all.